to Folklore or the Triad podcast, where we try not to have things up. How you guys doing?
Doing
Good.
well.
Part
Good.
1 was still in the 30-minute range. We made a goal. Yay.
Heck yeah!
So,
Set a
all
goal
right.
Because
and
there was
made it.
nothing to talk about. Because Epstein doesn't exist, apparently.
He's still alive. Oh, that was another thing I forgot to bring up. Did you realize they have drone footage of him, apparently, hiding under a car because he's going, oh, crap, a drone. It's hysterical. So, I don't know if it's real, but it's funny. So, anyway. Sorry, Trevor, go on. Lead us in. What are we talking about today on this one, on this segment?
We're going to talk about the paranormal investigator Dan Rivera. He passed away, sadly. If you know about the Annabelle doll, this was the guy that drove her around when they went on tour. But anyways, I thought we'd look at just a video on his story and what happened. As far as I know, they're still working on how he passed. They don't know, but it was the very end of their tour when he passed. And,
What tour? They drove around a haunted doll?
Yeah, they drive around the Annabelle doll and a few other paranormal things. And this is the guy that Ed and Lorraine Warrens. If you know about the Warrens, they kind of left him in charge of their museum and the dolls and whatnot. But anyways, if you want to pull that video up, Gary,
Okay. All right.
we'll play
Yes.
it.
So either, well, we'll just see. We'll just see. So is this the right timestamp? 6:55.
That's where I was looking at.
Okay.
Just go ahead and start it from the beginning.
From the beginning.
Started at 6 minutes and 66 seconds.
I will
You
not,
can do that.
sir. That's physically impossible.
But
Hey Ryan, we got more work to do. Again.
A well-known paranormal investigator died just hours after leading a sold-out event featuring one of the most infamous haunted objects in the world, the Annabelle doll. It happened in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. While officials say there's no foul play, the timing has reignited a lot of dark speculation. We're going to break down what we know.
And there was a doll with a butcher knife, but we really didn't think anything of it at the time.
Ducky
looks
doesn't
pretty
count.
harmless.
Right now, welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. I'm telling you right now, this isn't the kind of story that we usually cover on Sidebar, but I gotta say, this is so chilling, so strange, so mysterious. We have to talk about it. We have to cover it. We often say some of the stories that we cover feel like they come straight out of a horror movie. This one, it is kind of like a horror movie. It ended in tragedy. What was supposed to be a sold-out 3-day paranormal event in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, took a very dark and unexpected turn. Dan Rivera, a 54-year-old U.S. Army veteran and well-known paranormal investigator, died suddenly, out of nowhere, on the evening of July 13th, just hours after concluding his devil's...
I'm sorry, anytime I hear the phrase die suddenly, I just assume COVID, but
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, he died in his hotel room and he didn't have any heart issues or nothing like that. He just died.
so they don't
Did
know.
you
They,
get vaccinated by chance?
that's what I'm
not
asking. I'm
sure.
like, oh, come on,
That's
you
a
know.
good question. I'm not sure.
Shot heard around the world, you know. So, yeah, we need to know if there was a heart attack involved because that would give us a hint, possibly.
Yeah.
Johnson & Johnson, they care about you. Brought to you by Pfizer.
tour, which featured none other than the infamous, allegedly demon-possessed Annabelle doll. Now, if you've seen any of the Conjuring films or the 2014 movie Annabelle, you already know just how unsettling this doll's reputation is. Over the years, it's been tied to countless eerie and inexplicable incidents, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, but what makes Rivera's death especially disturbing is just how sudden and strangely timed it was. According to Adams County dispatch logs, emergency responders were called to a hotel in Gettysburg at around 8 p.m. on Sunday, July 13th, after someone reported CPR being performed on a man matching Rivera's description. And despite attempts to revive him, Rivera was pronounced dead shortly after. The Adams County Coroner's Office has confirmed that the death is not being treated as suspicious, though the exact cause remains pending, as autopsy results could take 60 to 90 days. But Rivera was the lead investigator for the New England Society for Psychic Research. It's called NESPR. And by the way, this is the same organization that was founded by legendary ghost hunters Ed and Lorraine Warren. He had just wrapped a 3-day showcase of the Annabelle doll at the historic Soldiers National Orphanage in Gettysburg, hosted by Ghostly Images of Gettysburg Tours. Now, the event was a hit. It drew massive crowds. Over 1,260 tickets were sold to see Annabelle.
I'll be right back,
and other
guys.
haunted relics from the Warrens Occult Museum. But according to the Evening
Hang on, let me
Sun,
turn off my camera.
Rivera took precautions to safely display the doll, building a protective case around it, encasing it, by the way, with 3 crosses and vials of holy water. Here's, by the way, how the official tour description put it. Quote, "The Devils on the Run tour is a chilling experience that brings the tales of famed ghost hunters Ed and Lorraine Warren's investigations to life. This tour offers a chance to delve deep into some of the darkest aspects of paranormal activity, including the entities and haunted objects the Warrens encountered during their decades-long career. One of the tour's key highlights is the infamous Annabelle doll, which, despite its seemingly innocent appearance, has been the cause of numerous terrifying incidents. The doll has reportedly brought misfortune, injury, and even death to those who have interacted with it improperly. The Devils on the Run tour takes participants to some of the most haunted places in America, and as part of its special events, it will feature locations like the haunted historic Soldiers Orphanage homestead in Gettysburg, where the spirits of the past still linger. This stop along the Devils on the Run tour will feature not just the Annabelle doll, but a couple of other haunted relics from the Warrens Occult Museum. So as you know, we're always writing a lot of sidebars here. We're researching, we're doing breaking news, and I am constantly on the run. And I get
Okay, what'd I miss? What happened?
How much?
Not much.
He's telling a story about how the who the Warrens were, and the Annabelle was part of their collection of haunted items.
Kind of a backstory, if you will.
Okay. Trevor, is there anything in particular with this video you're wanting to react to or mention? You have a timestamp you have for us?
No, I was just gonna show you guys what was going on.
Okay.
It's just, it's crazy how he passed away right after the tour was basically over.
Yeah.
And another part of it was, this is the same tour that they went to Texas first, when everything in Texas was happening.
Mm.
The flood and the
Oh yeah, I remember you
blue
mentioned
water
that.
stuff, all that stuff happening. They were in Texas at the time, and then they went to Gettysburg for the last part of their tour, and this happened. So it's all speculation and just guesswork, but
You think the doll did all that?
it's a
I
possibility,
think it's possible.
or whatever's tied to it.
Plutonium in the cotton? Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like you've heard of like what's that the style of haunting where it's like resonance, it's like stuck in the walls, you know,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever that's called.
Could be.
But
What's
I
that
mean, yeah,
called?
like a specific vibration that doll's like putting off, you know, it could
Well,
cause magnetic
They
disturbance.
do a full deal for the doll when they transfer it from its main case back at the museum into that traveling case. They have to do a full ritual.
I
Pray
would.
over it, and they pour holy water on it and all sorts of
Does it
stuff.
mold?
Well, not directly on the doll, like they
Oh, okay.
do like something.
Well, yeah,
special.
they wouldn't pour it directly on the doll. That would get rid of the demon, and then their shtick would be over. Well, good night, God. We want a little help, but not too much. So,
Right, not too much.
But anyways, if you want to pull up that last video.
yeah, sorry. I'm poking at these guys. All right.
Oh, that's Casper's site. I wanted to give him a shout out. He's just the one I heard it from.
Oh, okay.
So that's just him talking about it.
All right. Do you want me
So-
to?
And then pull up the next
Oh,
one.
you want the next one? Okay.
So this was his podcast called Seekers of the Supernatural.
Okay.
And this was his last podcast before he passed. So if you want to play a minute or two of it, we can.
Yeah. All right.
Facebook groups so they could interpret them. It was crazy. They say they are all mixed of 2 or 3 ancient dead languages.
Well, what does that tell you?
It could manipulate AI.
Can you tell Shannon what where?
Where was this? Well, she was from Germany, and Jimmy and I and the production team were working on a case over there to help this young lady to have an exorcism performed. But during that time, COVID had hit, and we couldn't proceed with that. And I just don't know where it went from there.
That was right before COVID.
Right before COVID, then COVID hit, right? Because we spent, I think it was like 2 years working with this lady. I even sent somebody from Italy to her house to, interview her.
I remember.
You remember that? Francisco, I think that was. I sent over
that,
there, and she came under possession while he was there, and he documented everything. So yeah, that was a crazy case.
Now, weren't they going to
Anyways,
try
you
to?
want to pause it?
Yeah.
That was Dan. I'm just telling a story. They have a lot more on their official Ed and Lorraine channel there.
Which is right here.
If you want to go ahead and click on the channel.
Yeah, let's see if we can get the actual story of the doll. Oh, that is loud. All right.
Oh
hang
yeah,
on a
that'd be
minute.
cool. We could go over that.
Yeah, let's see.
This is Ed talking about the doll herself.
Yeah, tells a real story of Annabelle. Must watch. Super exciting.
Good evening,
That's
ladies
Tony
and gentlemen.
Sparza. He runs
Welcome
all
to-
their moderation stuff. He's kind of the behind the scenes type guy that makes everything work out.
Makes
A
everything work,
manager, if you will.
huh? Okay. I just heard the 70s music and got angry because I hate the 70s. But anyway.
Yeah, this is Tony doing an interview with Ed and Lorraine.
Okay.
A brand new program of Seekers of the Supernatural. I'm your moderator, Tony Sparrow, along tonight with Ed Warren and Lorraine Warren, famous ghost hunters. It's a new year. It's a new show. We have new cases. But for those who perhaps aren't very familiar with Ed and Lorraine Warren, what we'd like to do, like I said, it is a new year. It's the year 2000. We'd like to talk to Ed and Lorraine regarding how they started, how long they've been in this business, what they think of the new millennium, things to come. So what I'd like to do is start out with you, Lorraine. If you could tell us how you and Ed began the work and how long ago it was.
Wow, it's a long time, Tony. It was over 50 years ago that we began as husband and wife to do it. Not long after Ed came home, after serving in World War II, he began talking about that home he grew up in Bridgeport. Began talking about the hauntings that had occurred there. That was really hard for me to accept that. I had never been in a haunted home, but I always had something about myself I didn't understand, and that was an ability to know things through extrasensory perception. But I suppressed those feelings, Tony, to a great extent because there really was no one I could share them with. Now, with Ed, it was important to him to satisfy his curiosity regarding that house that he grew up in. Did other families really experience the types of things that he experienced? And as artist, because he was now studying art and already beginning to sell his paintings very early on in his career after getting out of the service, within the first couple of years.
Let me ask you, you said you had the ability to know things.
Yeah,
What do you mean by that, and what year, how old were you?
it started about 9, Tony, that I had the ability to, I could see lights around people and know things about these people, but I didn't quite understand it. But I always had tremendous faith. I still do. I always felt that through prayer, anything could be changed. If it was God's will, anything could be helped. And I always relied on that. But I didn't understand what I experienced. Also, the night I met my husband and I knew I was going to spend my life with him, I fully did not understand that. That was my first outstanding thing that happened in my young adult life.
Now, let me interrupt for one moment. Ed, I'd like you to address
Yeah.
that.
Well, you got to understand, Tony, that there was a lot of confusion when I was small because my father
Yeah, we need to
was a
find.
police officer at that time.
The actual story
you saying to
starts
me,
about
Ed?
15 minutes in.
Oh, you should have led with the timestamp, Trevor. We're hearing everybody's backstories here, and it's like,
The
whoa.
one time he's actually had a timestamp ready, he just didn't.
He just didn't mention it. We love you, Trevor.
Well, I
I
actually
never
had to look
timestamps
it.
either, so.
I actually had to look it up real quick.
Oh, you had to look it up. Okay, well, good man, good man. Okay.
At least you were holding out on it.
He did it on purpose to make these jerks sit through the whole video.
Yes, I was going to. Yep.
Make fun of me. How dare you?
This isn't the very beginning of the story because it's mixed in somewhere in their introduction, but
Okay.
this is some of it.
Okay, all right.
Really witness that when people have
Actually
that.
see the spirit leave?
They actually see the spirit leave a person at the moment of death. But to experience that while you are still very much alive,
I know, that must be great.
it
It's
is.
just a transition from this physical body into the spirit world. But
I have no idea if this story is true, but I believe it. There was this atheist or really angry guy who came out of South America. And I don't know why that spirit leaving the body thing jogged my memory on it. But he was talking about how he grew up in this poor village. And a man in the community had died in his village. And he went to the funeral with his family and everybody was there. And they're all praying for this guy to come back to life. And they're begging and begging and begging. Well, he does. And then nobody would talk to that guy again because he was like the devil because he came back to life. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of find that it's like,
Amazing how people fear what they don't understand.
well, it's just like, God did you a solid and you shun the guy? I'm just saying. I mean, it's just people.
Nobody knows what the heck they want. That's why I say to not pray for things, bro.
It was the wrath of the Almighty is getting exactly what you ask for.
Yep.
Yeah. You know, the saying, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you pray for.
Yeah, I hope that's not true because I want the things I ask for, but maybe I don't know. Maybe they're not good for me. I don't know. Anyway,
It made me think of, have you seen Charlie Countryman?
uh-uh,
Shia LaBeouf.
uh-uh.
Oh, it's a great movie. Great movie.
Shia
But it
LaBeouf's
starts
a
out
monk
like
now.
A monk.
I think he's a monk now.
Yeah, he's a monk.
Nice.
Yeah, he gave
Just
up
do it.
Hollywood and became a monk.
I think I actually have a video on him
It's like
talking about his monkism.
it's like, hey, you got out,
this-
buddy. Good for you.
In this movie, his mom dies, and he's like, he can see dead people kind of thing. He
Uh-huh.
can talk to dead people.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of the premise of the movie. But in that movie, she's like, her spirit like comes out of her mouth. It's like a little blue wisp.
Huh.
It's pretty cool.
Maybe that's what people are talking
Pretty cool
these
movie.
guys are talking
You
about.
should watch it.
All right. We'll see.
It's one of my faves.
Cool beans. All right, let's see if we can find out about this doll.
Doll.
it was like my brother, who died recently. He was interested to a certain extent. And I never found out why he was never home at night until 2 days before he died. I said, Frank, where were you all those nights? I said, I'd be home alone. My parents wouldn't be there. My sister wasn't there. He wouldn't be there. I said, where were you? He said, I never wanted to tell you. He said, but I wasn't going to be in that house.
Wow.
He said, my room was right at the head of the stairs where the door would open up and the footsteps would come up. And he said how he would see this white glow. He said, I wasn't going to stay in that house, but I didn't find that out until 2 days before he died.
Wow.
He never told me about it.
You know, that's really a long time ago that you guys started out, but I know you've had thousands literally of cases.
Oh, God, yes.
And I also know that you have a museum on your property.
Yes.
Now, Ed, would you want to just tell a little bit about some of the things, perhaps, that are in that museum that are really fascinating, scary things, perhaps, that you've collected over the years?
All right, I think one of the most famous would be Annabelle. This is a Raggedy Ann doll that's made like thousands of other dolls, except that this doll was used in communication, almost like having a seance. A nurse had received the doll 1971 as a present, Christmas present from her mother. And the doll stands about 3 foot high. And she would take it to bed with her at night. That's common enough for girls to do. I take a pillow. Some people take a doll. Girls would like that, even 28-year-old ones. And after a few nights, she lived with another girl who was a nurse. Both of them St. Hartford or Hartford
Was
Hospital.
Hartford Hospital?
It was Hartford Hospital, honey.
And they were on the same shift, and so they worked together, they lived together, they shared the expenses. And one morning she got this idea to bring the doll from the bedroom into the kitchen where they were having breakfast, and she put it in a chair. And she said, oh, Raggedy Ann here's going to have breakfast with us today, joking around. Okay, well, that was a joke. Then the next thing, excuse me.
Bless you.
The next thing, she brought it down again the next morning, and the next morning. But the third morning, they're talking to the doll, and the arms of the doll are on the chair like this. Suddenly they went up and onto the table. Now this didn't frighten them. This intrigued them to the extent that the one nurse said to the other one of the nurses knows a medium. Let's ask her about this. I'll bet you there's a spirit in that doll. That's what they did. They asked this nurse about it, and she said, yeah. She said, I know a woman who is a medium. I'll bring her over, and we'll hold a seance. It was a joke, just a game. But it didn't turn out to be a game. It turned out to be one of the most horrifying experiences they'd ever have in their life. And I've talked with people just recently, as recent as 2 months ago, who know the two nurses. And even today, they don't like to talk about it. They'll never come to our lectures. They don't want to talk about Raggedy Ann, Annabelle at all. So now the woman holds a seance, and she said, there's a spirit of a 6-year-old girl in that doll who was killed in an automobile accident just outside of your apartment house here. Well, there was a 6-year-old child by the name of Annabelle who was killed. But God does not allow the spirit of a child to go into a doll. This was a demon who was posing as that little child to create sympathy to these two young women, which it did. Now this was no longer a doll. This was a child. They would take it for rides. They'd talk to it. They'd buy clothing for it, jewelry. They treated it just as though it was that little girl who was killed, Annabelle. Now they were giving it a lot of recognition. Soon after the first seance, things would happen in their house, what we refer to as infestation. There'd be knocking sounds. They'd see flashing lights in their bedroom at night, shooting across the room. The bed would shake a little bit. It would get icy cold. They'd hear whispering, which we call magic whispering. Now, from time to time, these girls would change shifts. But they were getting a little scared now. So they decided to stay on the same shift all the time, 4 to 12. They'd leave the doll in the bedroom. They'd come home after midnight, put the key in the door, unlock the door, and who do you think is standing there? The Raggedy Ann doll.
Standing there.
Now that doll has flimsy legs.
Yeah.
If you try to stand it up, you can't. I've seen that doll stand. I've seen a lot of things happen around that doll. Well, this still didn't scare them. But one of the fiancés of one of the girls was against all of this. He said, burn the doll, throw it away, get rid of it. It's evil.
That's what I was about to say. I was like, why didn't you burn it with fire?
Yeah.
What are you doing keeping it? Why do you think
Curiosity.
a 6-year-old kid would want to stay in a doll? It's like, you need to leave. Get out of that thing. It ain't good for
Yeah.
you. Good.
Yeah.
Not, even if you were to believe the premise, why would you? It's like, kids, you can't live in a Raggedy Ann doll. Go somewhere. Go to heaven. Go.
So is sympathy evil? Is that the moral of the story?
The moral of the story is these nurses shouldn't have went to college. Only college creates that stupid. So,
Yeah. You're right.
oh man.
Yep.
Well, he falls asleep one afternoon, a Saturday, and the doll is in a chair not far from him, and the girls are cleaning up the apartment. He wakes up with a start. He said, "My God, what a nightmare!" He said, "I dreamt that doll was strangling me. He had marks on his throat. Was it psychosomatic? Well, let's see." He gets up. He looks at the doll in the chair, picks it up, and throws it right across the room. "You're nothing but a rag doll. You couldn't hurt anyone." With that, Tony, 7 psychic slashes appear on his body.
Wow.
Now, we've seen these kind of slashes. We've filmed them. These slashes come from nowheres. The blood came right through his shirt. The nurses witnessed this. Then, a huge chair rolled across the room. Pictures on the walls came off, started smashing and breaking. Loud pounding sounds. Now they were all frightened. They called the High Episcopal Canon in Hartford, Connecticut. He called Father Richard Nolan, an exorcist, and Father Nolan called us. We went to the apartment. Exorcism was performed immediately over the people, the 3 people, and the apartment. I brought that doll back to my museum. Now, why would I have something like that in a museum? Evidence, proof. The skeptics, the atheists, the first thing they attack you with is, where's the evidence? Where's the proof? This never happened. I not only have the doll, I have film, I have recordings, I have eyewitness accounts from credible people who have seen these phenomena happen in and around that doll. A priest comes to my home one day, young fella, has his rectory right here in Connecticut. "Ed, I'd like to take you and Lorraine for a ride in my new car. Very proud of it." We went with him. When he took us back, he said, "What about this doll everybody's talking about?" Because we had shown it on Channel 18, on a TV show we're on. "Could I see it? I understand it puts slashes on people." I brought him into the museum. It's in a chair. He looks at it. Just like the guy in Hartford, he walks right over to it, never said a word, picked it up and threw it right across the room. "God is more powerful than a devil." I said, "Yes, Father. God is more powerful than millions of devils." But he wasn't. He found that out. Less than an hour later, driving home on Route 84, his brand new car went out of control. I know what he's talking about because the same thing happened to Lorraine and I when we talked about Amityville one time on Route 84. You can't control the car. Half of his car was sheared off by a tractor-trailer truck. He should have been killed, but he lived. God will only let the devil go so far. The last thing he remembered seeing was the image of that doll. Well, then a
Creepy, isn't it?
Well, let's talk about that, just hypothetically speaking here for a minute. So, should he, Cody, I'll pose this question to you. Should he keep the doll with the demon in it in the name of evidence?
I wouldn't, but I will say I feel like, so when these guys pick this doll up and throw it, they're giving it power. Like that's belief. Like the act of taking that and throwing it and saying God's better than you, blah blah blah. That's belief, right? And
Yeah.
so that's going to sit in the back of their mind and grow and grow and grow, and it's a seed. And I think that's how it gets you. Like if you were to just not give it any credibility at all,
Yeah.
by just don't even say anything, like physically, And you could have your thoughts and you could ignore them, but once you pick that doll up and throw it across the room, you're giving it power. And I think it's like the girl's belief that it was a little girl that, gave that demon enough power to start acting out in the physical realm.
Trevor, what about you?
I agree. But yeah, on this channel, there's the Ed and Lorraine Warren channel there. Tony, that other guy sitting there, takes people on tours through the museum, and there's a lot more other stuff that's got attachments to them. And he tells people don't touch anything. So I'm kind of on the same thought level as Cody there. If you give it power, it's gonna have power. If you don't give it any power, then it's just an idol, if you will. It's just a whatever it is, inanimate object, a doll.
Mm-hmm.
And it only gets power when you give it the power in your mind to do anything.
Simply put, demons feed on negative energy. So if you give it any kind of negative energy at all, it's going to use it.
I'm reminded, because I do agree with you guys, I'm reminded of that story with, can't remember, it's an Acts, but these guys go up to challenge a demon. And the demon, they say, in the name of Paul the Apostle, get out of this person. Yeah. And the demon's
Didn't
like,
work out.
I know Christ, I know Paul, but who are you? And then strips him naked, beats him up, and sends him on their way. So, yeah, I wouldn't just casually go in there and challenge it. You challenge it with the name of Christ. You have the authority to use Christ's name, but that doesn't mean you should bow up. Because you're right, it does feed off. If you speak to it, if you interact with it, you're feeding it.
Yeah.
And as for evidence, my experience has been people generally, you should still do arguments, you should still make your case on things, but generally speaking, people don't care about evidence. They say they do because they know they're supposed to, but
Even when you show them evidence, they still are like,
Well, I
that's
mean,
not real.
think back in your own experiences. I certainly think back on mine, and I'm like, how long did it flip and take me to even admit that what was going on was actually going on?
Right.
It took years before I finally admitted my stuff was real. And I imagine that's the case for most people.
Yeah.
So it's not really a matter of evidence. There's usually emotional stuff that
Well,
keeps
some
people
peop-
from
some
believing or
people-
not believing something.
Yeah, some people go their whole lives and they don't believe in any of it ever.
Yeah. Well, it's just like that story of the rich man and Lazarus, It's like if they have the law and the prophets, if they don't believe them, they're not going to believe it if their brother comes back or somebody comes back and preaches it to them directly. Evidence ultimately isn't what persuades people. Yeah. So all you've got is a bunch of cursed objects and they're going to cause mischief. So I just burn them with fire. You don't need evidence that bad. So,
yeah.
I was watching a show. I can't remember what it's called. It's got Tom Hardy in it, and he's it's like late 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in this dock town.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the show's called, but he goes down and he's talking to a demon, and he said something that I've actually applied in my own life. The only thing you can really say, if you're going to out loud talk to a demon, he says, I have no guilt or shame to give you. And that's their food, right? So it's they can't exist, they can't do anything if you don't feed them. So when you don't feel guilty about anything, they can't bother you, if you feel bad about something, the more you feel bad about it, the more it affects you. Right.
I agree.
I do think I have to chew on that a little bit, but I think I at least agree in part.
Did it
I
taste
thought
good?
that line was That line was really good, though. I have no
Yeah.
guilt or shame to give you.
That is a good line.
I'll have to think about it.
And Jesus
Chew on
did
that a
tell
little
us
bit.
to think on these things.
Yeah, I have to chew on. Yeah.
Think on Tom Hardy quotes is the actual Jesus quote.
There you go. So, okay, gentlemen, that's part 2. We're ready to move on.
Tom Hardy is my cousin, and him I am well pleased.
That was good. That was good. That got me. That got me. Okay. All right. If you're on the live stream, keep watching. We got one more segment left. If you are watching this after the fact, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thank you.
Deuces.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Faith, Fiction, and Folklore. If you did, we would love it if you would subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Rumble. We can also be found on X, Instagram, and Facebook. And we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Thank you again very much for listening, and we'll see you next time.